in a small, quiet village where the nights were long and cold. There lived a tiny candle named Lumo. He sat on a dusty shelf in a quaint little shop, surrounded by grand lanterns, tall lamps, and shiny glass bottles. Lumo was the smallest candle of them all, short, thin, and terribly shy. Every single night he watched from his corner as the bigger, brighter lamps were chosen, lit, and carried off to warm homes and brighten rooms. He, on the other hand, was always left behind in the growing darkness. "Oh, I wish I could shine like the others," he would sigh softly to himself, his little wick drooping with sadness. One particularly dark night, when the moon hid behind thick clouds and the stars were just faint pinpricks in the sky, a fierce cold wind howled through the village. It snuck through the cracks in the old shop, and with one powerful gust, the flame in every lamp flickered wildly and then died out. The shop was plunged into an unnerving, absolute darkness. Lumo, sitting alone on his shelf, trembled. He was scared, but in that moment of complete blackness, a determined thought sparked within him. "If I could just find the sun," he thought, his hope flickering like a tiny, resilient flame, "maybe he could teach me how to shine forever." And so, with a newfound bravery, Lumo made a life-changing decision. He gathered all his courage, wiggled to the edge of the shelf, and took a leap of faith. He tumbled onto the floor, rolled through a small crack beneath the window, and began his great journey through the sleeping village. The road ahead was long and filled with looming, dancing shadows. Lumo's small wick, his only source of light, flickered precariously in the breeze, threatening to go out at any moment. But he shielded it with his waxy body and kept moving forward, one determined roll at a time. Soon he reached the edge of a dark, imposing forest. The trees were so thick and tall that even the faintest moonlight couldn't pierce the canopy. It was a place of mystery and strange noises. Unseen eyes blinked at him from the deep shadows of the bushes, making him shiver. Just as his fear began to overwhelm him, a wise old owl, with feathers as soft as the night sky, landed silently beside him. "Little candle," the owl hooted gently, his voice calm and deep. "Where are you going all alone in this great darkness?" Lumo, though still trembling, stood as tall as he could. "I'm going to find the sun," he declared. "I want to learn how to shine as bright as him." The old owl blinked his large, round eyes, and a knowing smile touched his beak. "Ah, but you already shine, little one, even in the deepest darkness. You must keep your flame safe, for your light is small, but it is strong." Lumo looked at his own tiny flame, which seemed to glow a little warmer at the owl's words. He thanked the wise bird and continued his journey, feeling a little less scared and a little more brave. The owl's words echoed in his mind, giving him strength as he pushed deeper into the woods. By the time the first hints of morning painted the sky, Lumo had emerged from the forest and reached a vast frozen lake. The ice stretched out before him, sparkling like a sheet of polished glass under the pre-dawn light. He looked down and saw his reflection staring back at him, weak, pale, and small. A wave of doubt washed over him. He whispered to his faint reflection, "Maybe I'm just too small. Maybe I'll never reach the sun." Just then, a tiny firefly, like a floating jewel, flew down and hovered beside him, its own light pulsing with a gentle, comforting rhythm. "Don't give up, little candle," the firefly buzzed softly. "Even the tiniest light can show the way." Its words were like a warm hug. Lumo looked from the firefly's light to his own, and his heart glowed warmer than his flame. He wasn't alone. With a small nod of gratitude, he took a step forward. Together they crossed the icy lake, a tiny candle and a tiny firefly, one small light leading another, proving that even the smallest sparks could conquer the vast, cold emptiness. Finally, after a long, arduous climb up winding paths and rocky slopes, Lumo reached the very top of a high hill. He was exhausted, but as he looked to the east, his weariness vanished. The clouds were transforming, turning from grey to soft gold, then to brilliant shades of orange and pink. The sun was rising. He watched in absolute awe as a magnificent wave of light poured over the world. The mountains blushed in the morning glow, the rivers below shone like ribbons of silver, and every leaf and blade of grass sparkled with dew. It was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. "Mr. Sun," Lumo called out, his voice full of hope, "please, can you teach me how to shine like you?" The sun, vast and glorious, seemed to smile kindly. Its warm, golden rays reached down and touched Lumo gently. A voice that felt like pure warmth resonated around him. "Little candle," the sun said, "I do not shine to be seen. I shine to give warmth and light to others. That is the true secret." Lumo blinked, processing the profound words. "To give light, not just to be bright?" he asked. The sun's rays enveloped his tiny flame, making it feel stronger than ever before. "Yes," the sun confirmed, "even the smallest light, when shared, can make the darkest night disappear." In that moment, Lumo understood everything. His purpose wasn't to be the biggest or brightest light. It was to share the light he already had. His own flame suddenly glowed with a new, powerful intensity, not because it had grown in size, but because it now carried a clear and noble purpose. With his heart full and his flame burning steadily, he hurried back down the hill, his journey now taking him home, back to his village. When he finally returned, night had fallen once more. A storm was raging outside, and the village shop was cold, dark, and filled with fear. People were stumbling in the blackness, unable to see. Without a moment's hesitation, Lumo climbed onto the familiar windowsill and let his small flame burn as brightly as it could. Its warm, steady glow spread across the room, a beacon of hope in the darkness. It guided people to safety, and its gentle light calmed their fears. Inspired by his courage, one by one, other candles were brought to his flame. Soon, the lanterns, the lamps, and even old torches were being lit from his tiny wick. The light spread from the shop to the street, from one house to the next. Soon the entire village glowed with a beautiful, warm, golden light, chasing away the storm's shadows. People gathered, their faces filled with relief and gratitude. "Who started this wonderful light?" someone asked. A little boy, peering through the window, pointed that one. He said, "The tiny candle." Lumo's wax heart filled with a joy so immense it felt like it would overflow. The owl's words echoed in his mind. "Your light is small, but strong." He realized he didn't need to chase the sun anymore. He had found his own way to shine. He had become a little sun himself right there, in the place where he belonged. The next morning, as the real sun rose, its first rays touched Lumo's waxy body softly, almost like a gentle pat on the back, a silent thank you. And if you ever happen to visit that quiet, cozy village, you'll still hear the children whisper to each other before bedtime, sharing the story of their hero. Remember, they say, even a little candle can chase away the dark. Because true strength isn't about being big or powerful. It's about sharing the light you have, no matter how small it may seem. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to let your own light shine. Follow us for more stories that warm the heart.